Chapter 537 to 538. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. 5 figures as fast as ghosts are engaged in a game of run and chase as they are passing by the forest. Their speed is so fast that except for after images, nothing can be discerned. If those with good eyes and insight are to look at these people engaged in a cat and mouse game, they would instantly realize that 3 of these 5 figures are the elites of the Konoha military police force that are heavily armed with all kinds of shinobi gear and are chasing after someone under the leadership of their patriarch, Uchiha Fugaku. The person they are chasing after is dressed in the traditional Akatsuki black turtleneck cloak with red cloud prints, and from his scarlet eyes with 3 black tomos spinning in them, it can be discerned that the person they are chasing after is also a member of the Uchiha clan. "Shinichi, how long are you going to keep running away from the clan?" Uchiha Fugaku, who was closely following Shinichi, shouted at him in a stern tone, beckoning him to stop and face them. It's just that this Uchiha happens to be a traitor of the Uchiha clan who has defected from Konoha and joined the terrorist Akatsuki organization, hence the cat and mouse game. Uchiha Shinichi turned his head slightly and glanced at the 3 Uchiha elites as well as the Uchiha patriarch behind him, then continued to move forward without answering Fugaku's question. As the perpetrator who started this chase, the cat and mouse game, Shinichi, of course, has his own considerations. It happened before Nagato used Tendo of the 6th Path of Pain to release Super Shinra Tensei over the sky above Konoha in order to completely destroy the strongest shinobi village. At that time, Nagato instructed all the Akatsuki organization members present inside the village to retreat and escape far away from Konoha. Initially, Shinichi was surprised by such an instruction and a little skeptical, because the instruction obviously sounded absurd and contrary to Akatsuki organization's objective tonight. Akatsuki's objective tonight is to destroy Konoha, eliminate the Gokage, and capture the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki. But Shinichi soon came to the conclusion that Nagato probably intends to use one of his super destructive moves to completely destroy Konoha in a single move. Shinichi didn't doubt whether Nagato can do so or not, because he knows that Nagato is perfectly capable of such a feat. Therefore, Shinichi deliberately appeared in front of the members of the Konoha military police force and, conveniently, led them outside the village, just in time to escape the effects of the Super Shinra Tensei Nagato used to flatten the village. The members of the Uchiha clan were shocked by the sight of the village that no longer existed. Then, under the orders of the Uchiha patriarch, most of them went back in order to help in rescuing the wounded, while the patriarch himself led 3 Uchiha elites and chased after Shinichi. While Shinichi recalled the event that happened not long ago, Uchiha Fugaku's persuasive voice sounded from behind. "Shinichi, I understand that you are dissatisfied with the clan and the village for not giving Kurumi's killer a fair judgment, and I also accept that I was incapable of bringing justice to Kurumi, but that's no reason for you to join a terrorist organization like the Akatsuki. You have also witnessed the scene back in the village. I don't think I need to make it clearer to you that the members of the Akatsuki organization are all lunatics. If you stay with them, you will not end well either." When Tendo used the Super Shinra Tensei to flatten Konoha, all the Uchiha who had chased and fled out of the village in order to catch Shinichi also witnessed the shocking scene, and for a moment none of them could believe their eyes. It happened in an instant. Just a moment ago, the village, which was built by the joint alliance of the 2 greatest shinobi clans during the Warring States era, the village which has been standing in place for more than 5 decades, and had witnessed 3 great shinobi wars and the change of 4 Hokage, the very same village was reduced to ruins at the next moment. And when that shocking scene took place, Fugaku, thanks to his Sharingan, keenly discovered the surprised expression on Shinichi's face as he looked in the direction of the village, and the relieved expression as Shinichi looked at the Uchiha clansmen who survived that calamity. So Fugaku came to the conclusion that for some reason Shinichi was aware of the incoming danger and tried to help the Uchiha clan by leading the clansmen outside the danger zone. Fugaku is not sure why exactly did Shinichi help the Uchiha clan survive and foiled the plans of the Akatsuki organization. But Fugaku understood one thing, and that is the fact that in Shinichi's heart, the Uchiha clan is still more important compared to Akatsuki. This is also the reason why Fugaku is trying to persuade Shinichi and not directly eliminate him. Ha 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 ha. Shinichi laughed upon hearing Fugaku's words. Of course, whether this laugh is mockery, self-mockery, or despair cannot be understood by anyone except for Shinichi. When Kurumi was killed, the clan did not help bring justice to her, and the village did not punish her killer. At that time, Shinichi's heart was filled with nothing except hatred, and he felt betrayed. This feeling of betrayal was further stimulated because of awakening the Mangekyo Sharingan. For Shinichi, the Mangekyo Sharingan represented the hope of avenging Kurumi. If the clan cannot bring justice to Kurumi, then I would do it myself. If the village did not punish Kurumi's killer, then I would do it myself. With these intentions, Shinichi sneaked into the root base and killed Kurumi's murderer. After the death of that root member, Shinichi was focused on the next target. After all, the masked man was also behind Kurumi's death, and Shinichi had to figure out a way to kill that bastard. Therefore, he escaped the village, looking for an opportunity to kill the masked man. But there was something left that he had to complete before he said goodbye to Konoha forever, and that was to defeat Hyuga Kuroto. This was important to Shinichi, as his defeat at the hands of Hyuga Kuroto was the primary cause of why everything happened. Even if Hyuga Kuroto wasn't personally involved with the events related to Kurumi's death, Shinichi had to defeat Hyuga Kuroto. Unfortunately, that didn't do as planned. Instead of defeating Hyuga Kuroto quite easily, he himself was ruthlessly defeated by the other party. The defeat was so thorough that Shinichi couldn't see himself winning anytime soon, so he was suddenly lost. At that point, when Shinichi was emotionally overwhelmed and frustrated, Hyuga Kuroto talked to him and gave him the hope of bringing Kurumi back to life in exchange for being a subordinate for 15 years. Shinichi was so taken aback that he immediately agreed and became Kuroto's subordinate. Shinichi didn't know why he believed Kuroto of being able to do something so absurd. He just did so. If Kuroto really brings Kurumi back to life, then let alone 15 years, even if it is lifetime subordination, Shinichi is willing to do so. The hope of seeing Kurumi back to life again cleared Shinichi's heart from despair and hatred, and with his heart cleared, Shinichi felt complicated towards the clan and the village. Of course, there was also anger towards the masked man. Knowing that the masked man who claimed to be Uchiha Madara was behind everything, Shinichi obviously wanted to kill him and willingly became a spy within the organization and periodically reported all his findings to Kuroto. Working in the organization also gave Shinichi some time to calm his mind and recollect his thoughts. By now, Shinichi no longer has any hatred towards the clan and the village, nor is there any hatred towards the masked man. If someone were to ask what he feels towards the masked man, then the answer would only be a single term: pity. Shinichi doesn't know what exactly has the masked man experienced in his life, but the fact that he has been pushed into such depths of despair and has come to the conclusion that nothing except for Project Tsuki no Mi can bring peace to this shinobi world makes Shinichi really feel pity for him. Shinichi doesn't know whether the masked man is right or wrong, and frankly speaking, he doesn't really care anyway. As Kuroto's subordinate, Shinichi only needs to do what he was asked for at the beginning, and that is to lurk within the Akatsuki organization as a spy. Shinichi knows that Kuroto doesn't want the masked man's plan to succeed, so Shinichi doesn't plan to let the masked man succeed. And since his hatred for the clan is no longer there, Shinichi doesn't want the Uchiha clan to be destroyed either. After all, Kurumi would be sad if the Uchiha clan were to be destroyed. This is also the reason why he was conveniently chased out of the Konoha village by several Uchiha clansmen. As a result of this, the Uchiha clansmen coincidentally happened to have avoided the catastrophe that struck the village just in the nick of time and survived. That's right, it's truly a coincidence that the Uchiha clansmen escaped, but it's just that Shinichi can't say it out loud and clearly because of being monitored by the white Zetsu clones. Since the Tri-Alliance consisting of Konoha, Kumo and Suna jointly raided the Akatsuki organization's stronghold in Amegakure. Both the leaders of the Akatsuki organization, that is Nagato, and the masked man have become extremely vigilant, as a result of which not only have they increased their vigilance towards the other great shinobi villages and heightened the threat level of the mysterious Amatsukami organization to the maximum, but they have also started to improve, organize, and strengthen the internal management within the Akatsuki organization, just to be on the safe side and avoid infiltration and leakage of information. Previously, all members of the organization were free to do their own things as long as they completed their assigned missions, but that's no longer the case. Nagato and the Masked Man are no longer so loose towards the members of the organization. This has also caused a headache for Shinichi, and the reason is quite obvious. Both Nagato and the Masked Man have noticed Shinichi's perfunctory attitude towards the organization and have therefore instructed White Zetsu to use his clones to monitor Shinichi 24/7. If it was before, even if Shinichi was under surveillance, the White Zetsu clones did not dare to get too close, because they were aware of Shinichi's terrible, in the good sense, sensory skills, and therefore monitored his actions only from a large distance in order to avoid being discovered by him, which gave him ample opportunity to pass on the Akatsuki's intelligence to Kuroto on regular intervals. But after the White Zetsu clones were given the specific order by the Masked Man to monitor Shinichi, they no longer cared about the problem of being discovered by him and began monitoring all his actions at a clone's distance, as a result of which Shinichi is unable to transmit any information to Kuroto, using his previous methods without the high risk of being discovered by White Zetsu clones. And this is also the reason why he couldn't express his true thoughts to Fugaku. Of course, Shinichi is also a shrewd one. Ever since he entered the organization, he has not forgotten his objective of spying. If he cannot use his previous methods to pass on the intelligence, then he will use new and unconventional methods, and the team led by Uchiha Fugaku, or more specifically Uchiha Fugaku behind him, is that method. With this intention, Shinichi continued to lead Fugaku's team and finally stopped at a relatively open grassland. The three elites, as well as Fugaku, who were chasing after him, also stopped one after another and spread around the grassland to surround Shinichi at the center of a four-sided siege, thus cutting off his escape route. With Shinichi under control, Fugaku walked in front of him and said with a solemn expression, "The root subdivision has been abolished by the village, and you should let go of the past, too. The Uchiha clan is the co-founder of Konoha. As such, the Mangekyu Sharingan of the Uchiha clan should not become a weapon at the hands of the enemy of the village. You have already expressed your anger and dissatisfaction. Now there is no longer a need to continue. Come back to the village with us. Kurumi wouldn't want you to continue doing what you are doing right now." Fugaku may have considered the option of coup d'etat, but he never even thought of defection. This shows that he too is deeply loyal to the village. Even in the canon, after knowing that the coup could no longer succeed because his son Itachi sided with the village, Fugaku gave up and died silently, but never once considered or showed the slightest intention of defecting. In the heart of this indecisive Uchiha patriarch, Uchiha and Konoha have long been integrated. The internal discord of the Uchiha clan and Hokage faction is one matter, but as a Konoha shinobi, the captain of the Konoha military police force, and the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, Fugaku would never be merciful to the enemies of the village, especially when those enemies are the traitors of the Uchiha clan. The only reason Fugaku has been trying to persuade Shinichi to come back to the village is that Shinichi has not done any serious damage to the village, except for the time he massacred root shinobi during the time of his defection. But hey, we can ignore that case after all. The Uchiha clan also tolerated the death of Uchiha Kurumi at the hands of a root shinobi so as to avoid escalating that conflict. So Sandaime Hokage will also have to tolerate Shinichi's action of avenging Kurumi, even if it led to the death of several root shinobi back then. Hearing Fugaku's persuasive words, Shinichi raised his eyebrow, then said with a smile, "Isn't it too late to say this already? You should have witnessed the scene back then." Fugaku shook his head calmly. "Better late than never, Shinichi. As for the issue of the village being destroyed, it is not a problem. The roots of Konoha lie with us Konoha shinobi. So long as we are alive, so long as the Uchiha clan exists, the Konoha village will not perish and continue to flourish even amidst the most terrible storms. To a certain extent, Akatsuki's raid this time and the failure of Hokage to protect the village is not a bad thing for the Uchiha clan. Because the village suffered such serious damage, The ones to be blamed most will be the Hokage faction, as a result of which the reputation of the Hokage faction will be hit hard, and it wouldn't be strange if Sandaime Hokage is forced to abdicate in order to take responsibility of his failure. If the Hokage faction's reputation is hit hard and Sandaime abdicates, the Uchiha clan, as one of the two founding clans of Konoha, will not only be able to gain back its foothold in the village, but will also be able to gain more political power because of this incident. After all, the current elites of the Uchiha clan did not suffer much from Tendo's Super Shinra Tensei, and Fugaku also sent back several Uchiha in order to help in the rescuing work, which will allow the people of Konoha to see the efforts of the Uchiha clan to protect the village. Shinichi mocked. Maybe so, but that won't change my mind, and you won't be able to stop me either. Seeing Shinichi's resolute expression, Fugaku sighed. Sigh. In that case, I can only do what I must as the patriarch of the Uchiha clan. You are a threat to the village and the clan, so I have to either eliminate you or I have to capture you. As soon as he finished, Fugaku's Sharingan suddenly changed, the pattern that was a 3-tomo Sharingan until a moment ago changed shape and transformed into the Mangekyu Sharingan. Whistle. Well, isn't the patriarch the most hidden one? Said Shinichi in a surprised tone, then added, You too have the Mangekyu Sharingan. I do wonder why did you never reveal this information? Fugaku folded his arms over his chest and answered, It was for the sake of the peace of the clan. I was worried that if the news about me awakening the Mangekyu Sharingan is revealed, it will lead to discord between the Hokage faction and the Uchiha clan. Although I didn't expect that in your generation, both you and Shisui also awakened the Mangekyu Sharingan. So if you were to return with us, then with the existence of 3 Mangekyu Sharingan users, the Uchiha clan would no longer need to be suppressed by the Hokage faction, and we will also be able to obtain the position of the next Hokage. After experiencing the initial surprise, Shinichi was disappointed by Fugaku's following words and shook his head with a chuckle. Are you still struggling for the position of Konoha's Hokage? Patriarch. I'm afraid you don't understand the kind of strength the leader of my organization has, and you also don't understand what kind of enemy the 5 great shinobi villages are facing. Even if all the 5 great shinobi villages were to unite, they wouldn't be able to find a way to overcome the threat of the Akatsuki organization, nor will they be able to defeat the leader of my organization. In such a scenario, the Hokage would become nothing more than a joke. Even if you become Hokage, it would be meaningless. Fugaku's face sank upon hearing Shinichi's ridicule. In that case, there is no longer a need to talk. As soon as Fugaku's words fell, Shinichi suddenly discovered that the surroundings have changed. He is no longer in the relatively open grassland and found himself in a black and white world. A very powerful genjutsu indeed, muttered Shinichi with a thoughtful look as he observed the surroundings. Then, without a moment of delay, he immediately spoke to Fugaku. Ikal prestankanens. Fugaku was suspicious of Shinichi's words and asked, What you have said is position coordinate, right? And if I remember correctly, this position coordinate is located in the Land of Iron. What are trying to do by telling me this coordinate? Shinichi replied, I couldn't reveal it in the real world, so I chose this genjutsu world. The position coordinate I have revealed a moment ago is the place where the new secret base of the Akatsuki organization is located. What? Fugaku was shocked by Shinichi's words.